How to ruin the wind homunculus. The wind homunculus is another one of those monsters that's had a really difficult career in Summoner's War. I'm talking about the likes of Shiho, Daphnis, Geldnir. Who else has had a really hard time? Oh, Juno used to be really bad. People don't remember that, but she did. Dude, Veramos actually wasn't always amazing. He was too good, then he got really bad. Let me think of a couple. Should I think of a couple other? No, this bit's going on too long. In the past, he was good in raids. That concludes the list of places that he was good. Oh, I'm being a little hyperbolic, but I mean, he was damaged. And like, people do damage. It's not exactly hard to find. Look, all I'm saying is if you're being compared to a Kamamir, then you're doing something wrong. And that's not even fair anymore because Amir is good now for very similar reasons. This video is about the wind homunculus. I'm getting off track. Enter the Abyss dungeons. The bosses are stronger, they hit harder, and they have way more, by which I mean HP. Folks are clamoring for max HP damage scaling. Veramos rises up. Sig doesn't do enough damage. And not everybody has Lin, when suddenly the wind homunculus arrives on the scene. Whoa, I spelled that really weird on the script. The wind homunculus's bottom skill tree was pretty much changed entirely so that you could now do a path that is entirely max HP damage scaling. I'm talking first skill, a second skill that is essentially just Lin's third skill put there, and then a third skill that does max HP damage scaling and also applies defense break. Like, this dude is built to slay bosses. He was like genetically engineered in a lab to destroy the giant. And this is great because the Abyss dungeons have done a very good job at reminding us how important max HP damage scaling is because they have a lot of HP. So I guess what I'm trying to come to terms with is that I've poked a lot of fun at the wind homunculus in the past, and now all of a sudden he is essentially a farmable version of Lin with a defense break. So I'd like to offer my sincerest apologies. For your runes, you can put them on Rage Blade to maximize crit damage. And essentially, that's the mission. So if you have to rune him on a broken set, you can totally do that. Take me, for example. I've runed him on full broken to maximize stats. I've got him on a different rune on every single slot. It is chaos. It looks like a tornado blew through my rune box. For artifact substats, you can look for additional crit damage on skill 2 and skill 3. If you want to just be even meaner to the giant, you can also look for increased damage dealt on water. What I find to be even more important than the runes that you're putting him on, though, are the people that you pair him with and where he lands in the turn order on your team. On that very same giants team that I spoke about a minute ago, I've got Teshar as my crit rate lead, so that way I can ease off the crit rate burden on him. I also have 2 units built on triple fight, and you really want to make sure that he moves after your setup unit, meaning your defense breaker. Prylia, the Wind Harpy, is another unit that's come into the limelight recently because she has defense break on every single skill, and one of them is a guaranteed defense break on bosses. Let's talk primary and secondary stats to focus on for the wind homunculus. For your primary stats, you've got crit rate and crit damage. You want to make sure that he crits when he moves, and your crit damage should be the highest stat possible. If you're using him specifically in Giants, which is where I imagine a lot of folks are bringing him, you can ease off the crit rate and put crit damage as your #1 priority. Your secondary concern will be speed, and I'm not necessarily saying to pile on speed on the wind homunculus, I'm more so saying to be aware of his speed. In that, you should make sure that the tuning is correct. He should be moving after your defense breaker. If there is no defense break on the boss, then you're not going to be doing a lot of damage. So there you go, that's a closer look at how to rune one of the most accessible and dependable max HP damage scaling units in the game. Now, whether or not this means that you should swap your water homunculus over to a wind homunculus remains to be seen, and it's an incredibly personal decision because you know more than anybody if you need a crowd control unit or a single target max HP damage dealing unit. Or you can even swap them back and forth, albeit doing that frequently might not be the best idea as far as resources are concerned, but it's definitely something that you could do. Water homie for TOA, wind homie for dungeons. Got homies everywhere. Is this really the first time I've said homie in this whole episode? How the hell did I make it this deep without saying homie? Are you using the wind homunculus? Let me know in a comment down below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.